Hey guys, it's your boy DJ Reminisce, and today we're going to discuss and I'm going to show you how to mix the music. What I mean by music is the synths, any main music pieces, for example, like harmonium, tumbi, this and that. And for this mix, I've included bass in the music. Sometimes I'll keep the bass separate, depending on the song and what the bass is doing. But this bass is more melodic. It's just for a feel thing. So let's go through the bass first. So just make sure that it's selected. Just gonna turn this guy up so you can hear it. Okay, so let's solo the bass. So that's the bass soloed without any effects on it. So let's go through the effects. So the first thing I did was add some JJP bass plugin. So let's play that. Here's with it. So I really rolled off some of the low end and kind of cleaned it up because it's really muddy. And then I did a little bit of EQ. So here's with the EQ right now. So because I took away some of that mid, I had to put a little bit back in, and then put it through a guitar rig. So this is with the guitar rig. Really brought out some of that distortion which I was looking for. Let me bypass it again. So it's just there, and with everything else you don't really feel it or hear it in the mix. And then with the distortion again, brings it out really nice in the mix. And then there's no R bass. I took that off. And then what we have here, I compressed it a bit because I found the transies were kind of hitting really hard. So this is just a gentle compression. So here's with the compressor. Just kind of level it out a bit. Again, I'll bypass it. With it. Kind of really smoothed it out. Again, I really like this CLA3 on bass. Okay, now let's talk about the music. Now the way I mix music is this. Usually synths, chords, string, stuff that's background stuff, that's melodic and it's not really, hitting hard or part of the main sort of music pieces. I basically pan them, hard left and right, get them out of the way to make room for vocals and stuff like dhols. Okay, now I'll show you what I mean. So let's go through the chords first. So here, let's turn these up for now. So can you hear them? Okay, so now I EQ'd them, basically rolled off the bottom. Just cleaned it up a bit. I found them a bit too sharp. Again, that's without the EQ. With the EQ. And then here's what I did. So right now, even though I've got them panned hard left, hard right, they're still a bit, they were in the way of the mix. So the way I get them out is by using a delay, or sort of like Haas effect. So I've got a delay on here. If you look at my delay on the left side, I've basically turned the delay off. See, it's 0 there. Gains to 0, doesn't really matter because the delay's it's not doing anything for the milliseconds. It's not going to hear anything. But on the right side, I've kind of like put a little bit. I mean, as long as you're within the Haas effect, like 0 to about 20-ish milliseconds, you'll get this effect, right? So when I bypass this, you'll see this now. Hold on. See how it just spread out really wide? Isn't that so cool? Here, let me bypass again. In the middle. Now out wide. So that's a good trick, this the Haas effect, to get stuff out of the mix. So those are the chords. Let's go through the synths, which is these guys here. So it's just, some high synths and some low synths, basically. So if I like solo these guys, right? And then here's the high ones. So what I did was I took these 4 tracks, had them as mono, so 4 tracks, bust them to basically just a strings bus. And the first thing I did here was I added the JJP plugin, so I had it engaged. I didn't realize that. So let me bypass it. Really muddy. put it back in the mix, or sorry, engage it. So really cleaned them up, rolled off a bunch of highs, as you can see here, and put some highs in. Really great plugin for synths. I just use one of the presets and I just play around with it. And then again, same thing with Haas effect. So let's engage this now. See how it just spread out really wide? I'll bypass it. Right in the middle. Engage. Wicked. Love that. Absolutely love that. So if I play these two together, they're nice and wide in the mix and in the way of everything else, because you got all these other music pieces that need room too, right? So there's that. Let's go through the piano. Okay, now let's talk about the piano. The piano goes pretty much throughout the whole song. It's kind of like, not a main riff, but it's got an integral part of the record. Again, I put in JJP, started with a piano preset, and just played with it. So let me get here to go to where the piano is. Somewhere here. So that's the piano raw. Let's bypass it. Oh, sorry, with the plugin bypass. Let's put the plugin back on now. Just cleaned it up really nice. Same thing again. Even though it's kind of prevalent in the mix, I still wanted a bit, you know, I wanted it kind of wide. So this is with that delay on it. Engaged. Push it out really wide. Now, just out of curiosity's sake, I'm going to bring the strings and everything back in. And because, see, these numbers are all, they're different. As long as you're within the Haas effect, like, they'll find a place. You just got to play around with them and kind of find where you want them. So what I usually do is I'll put the chords, you know, really wide. Strings probably, you know, depends a little bit, panned in or wider, and then the pianos will be a little bit in, so there's that. Alright, let's talk about the these music pieces. It's a Clave. Let's go through the Clave. The Clave is another piece that kind of goes throughout the whole song. So that's it raw. And then I just put a JJP synth plugin on it, played with the presets. Just cleaned it up. And that one I've got sort of panned to the left, just to give it some space and dimension. And then I also put some verb on it, just to give some space. If I exaggerate this, right? Okay, there's that. Organ. This one was pretty simple. I didn't really do much, just I think one plugin on it. Okay, again JJP, put a synth plugin, just played with the, you know, the plugin. So I, you know, crisped it up, turned a bit of the highs, compressed it a little bit, really took the lows off because it was interfering. Again, I'll bypass it. Really muddy with engaged. So really cleaned it up. And I didn't put any effects on it, I liked where it was, so it was fine. And again, I've got that panned, if you're listening to this, to your right, to give it space. So if I put these together, right, so they both have their space in the mix. Makes sense? Okay, gone through that. Now these three here, the harmonium, brass, and santura, are the main music pieces. So let's go through the harmonium first. Where are we here? Okay, this guy here. Okay, so this is the harmonium raw without anything on it. And let's put the JJP. I put a synth preset on it, just played with the numbers or all these dials. You know, really brought it out. I mean, it's really, like, if you listen to it, it's really muddy. Put this on, really cleaned it up. And then on that, I added a delay just to get some space. I'll mute that again. Put it back on. I mean, you can hear they're all exaggerated a bit, but so somewhere in there. Okay. let's go through the brass. Oh, sorry, and again, I panned the harmonium a little bit to your right. Again, just to give it some space. So when the music, see, when the breaks hit, you want to have an element of surprise and not everything in the middle, because your ear will kind of, you know, these surprises will affect your listening experience. So let's go through the brass. Again, this is raw with the plugin. Really cleaned it up. And then I also put some delay on it. I'll exaggerate this a bit. Again, just to give some space. Put these two together. So you see what I mean? Like when you listen to this now. So in one ear. And here it comes right now. See what I mean? Kind of gives you an element of surprise. Alright, the final synth we've got is the santur, which is basically the same setup. So what I've done with this record is I got the one music break. I've kept the harmonium in each break, but I split it up to give, you know, different sort of vibe with the santur. So the effects are pretty much the same. I didn't change anything on harmonium, so we'll just go through this guy here. So I added a guitar plugin because it's a guitar sounding sort of mandolin riff, right? So bypassed. Just cleaned it up. It is engaged. And I also put some delay on this as well. I kept the music pieces sort of the same feel. That's with the delay on. Exaggerate a bit. Somewhere there. And there you guys have it. So that is basically all the music. So now if I undo this, okay, now I'm gonna go through this. So let's just quickly go through this. Here's the music pieces with everything in. And there you guys have it. That's how I mix my music on this record. Again, the music pieces were important, but there was the vibe of this record were definitely the drums, the vocals, and you know, a couple other pieces here and there. But that's how I do the music. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like the video, share it. Please leave your comments. I love hearing from you guys. If you got any comments or, you know, concerns. Please subscribe to the channel, because if you like stuff like this, I got more coming out, more tutorials, more how-tos on how to mix Punjabi songs and other stuff. And if you subscribe, you'll get the you'll get the updates, and you'll stay up to date with the latest and greatest information. My name is djreminisce, and I'll see you guys real soon.